An abandoned building? Holy cow! So let's see what questions we have only on Paranormal, True or False. It is free to subscribe. Please subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thank you. Is that a ghost in the window? The camera is slowly aimed throughout this room and this space. Then it will move to the left and he will start to go downstairs. But on the right, it appears like there's somebody in that window. Was that a ghost? Was it a doll? Is it simply a living person? What's caused the distortion of the face? Is it a mask? Is there something on the window itself? Is it the camera shaking that's causing the distortion? Is it simply a painting? Is it a mannequin? I'm not convinced it's paranormal. What is that figure in the lightning? As the camera is brought back outside, we will see a figure in the flash of the lightning. Is it a living person? Is this something else and it's just distorted to look like a human being? Is it a shadow person? Is it a prank or a hoax? Is it staged? Is it dangerous? This is one of those that is definitely creepy. Is this girl a ghost? The camera is pointed to the ground, but then suddenly the flashlight and the camera will zoom up and face this abandoned building where it looks like there's a person looking back at them, but then they disappear. This one is so easy to recreate that it just comes across as staged to me. You know, they have the camera pointed at the ground and then suddenly they pan up and there she is. But they do that a second time where they pan the camera down, move the flashlight down, and then all of a sudden when they pan the camera back up and the light back up, she's gone. So the cameraman's actions gave this away, in which they just have somebody in a white dress and a dark wig and told to go stand up there, and that's what we end up with. What is this ghostly figure? Now we have a view from a stationary camera that's pointed inside this abandoned building when we see a misty figure walk from right to left. What is that? I love footage like this because I always think it has the greatest potential of being real. And yet at the same time, I know that it can be a video effect or computer graphics, or it could be some type of a light coming in through those cracks from a car driving by that causes that. It could also be a camera glitch like a data merge, where the computer is not sending the full signal. Or maybe it is a shutter speed with an IR sensor issue. But it's footage like this that I always want it to be real. And I hope this one is. Should we be afraid of this snowy figure? As the camera pans around in the snow, multiple times we will get a glimpse of a figure that's almost camouflaged by the snow. In this view, the image can barely be seen. We will see it better in the next clip. I don't know if they're trying to impersonate like a Sasquatch, but it just looks like a person in a winter jacket to me. This next clip shows them hiding behind a tree. They keep peeking around the tree and just being creepy. Of course, the camera operator keeps moving the camera all around, and now it looks like they're walking across a field, but you can barely see it because it's so grainy. Just pixels now. The footage is just too grainy for me to determine if that's paranormal or not. Little lights, green lights, confusing lights. What's going on? We start with a little light in the center of our screen that really is pulsating. It's not really making sense as to what it is. It's not really acting like a bug, but then again, it might still be a bug, but not. It's not acting like a lightning bug, let me put it that way, because lightning bugs, they flash for just a second and then they go dark. Whereas this one had pretty much continuous light, so I don't think it's a lightning bug. Now all of a sudden on the left side of our screen, a bright green light will appear, and I don't know what that is, but then it lights up part of this building, and the camera operator starts focusing on this building, and it looks like two people arguing. So I don't know exactly what's going on in this clip. If anybody knows anything about this clip, please let me know, because I'm confused about why you would turn a camera away from that green light, because that green light was the oddity. What's happening in this space here? I don't know. It almost looks like a tent, and a fire is on the other side of the tent. Let me know in the comments section below if you understand what's happening and why they would turn the camera away from that bright green light. Where did this person go? The camera operator was focused on their own child when the child pointed out this person that was running around over here, and then they disappear. So the camera operator, in spite of the grass, runs over and checks and can't find anybody there. They go around the side and even on the back side, and they don't find anybody. Are we dealing with an optical illusion where they really did not go into that concrete part but went off to the side and just squatted down? And then when they ran over there, did they just circle that whole area? And that's how they disappeared? But we can see that some of the grass has been pushed down all the way around that concrete wall and has been disturbed. So it doesn't really surprise me if they didn't just lay down and crawl around out of sight of the camera. But there could also be a trap door in there that's camouflaged, and they could have just gone right underneath that whole thing. I'm not totally convinced this is paranormal. Is this a cryptid? This was broadcast on the local news, and apparently this thing is a bird. It doesn't have a normal beak, and yet it opens its mouth really wide. Is it a birth defect or a mutation? I hope that this is a case of somebody at this vet's office or wherever we're at, animal control, is the one that took the footage, because if this is from your news camera footage, this is horrible footage and they need to fire that cameraman, because it's still too blurry and grainy. I keep looking at it and thinking, okay, it's kind of a cross between a snake, a lizard, and a squirrel head. It's definitely weird, but the footage is just... I wish we had a better image of it. Even when it's inside the crate, we still don't get a good view of it. Hopefully somebody's figured out what it is, because I have no clue. Is this a shadow person? As the camera points towards this building, we will suddenly see a black figure running towards the left. It almost looked like one of those Among Us guys, as short and round as it was. But let's slow down the footage a little bit and see if we can get a better look at it by freeze framing right there where it seems really short. But yeah, did you see it running off to the left? It doesn't look like an animal that's on 4 legs. It does look like it's standing on 2 or running on 2 legs. I'm sure this could be easily recreated by just throwing some type of a black cloth over you and running, or putting on some type of a black suit like that and running. But it almost looks like a black box. I'm not sure what to think on this one. I'm not convinced it's paranormal though. What is this creature? As these campers are hanging out, suddenly they will see a creature on top of the trailer and start running. What is that thing? It almost looked like a koala bear. So is this a natural creature, native to that environment? Is it CG? Is this a prank, a hoax, or staged? Is it a stuffed animal that's on a rope or a string? Unfortunately, I don't know where they're at to know what the native animals are in that area. And of course, the footage is grainy. I don't know why, but just now the way it moved, that just reminded me of CG for whatever reason. That's the one thing that a lot of rendering artists or video effect artists struggle with, is movement. I'm not convinced it's a cryptid. Is this door possessed, or did a ghost shut it? This paranormal investigator is in an abandoned building when suddenly the door slams shut behind him. It kind of looked like he almost saw something out there, but I guess not. And then all of a sudden that door just slams shut, scaring the crap out of him. And it would have scared me too. Is it possible he could have used a string and pulled that door shut? Yes. Did he do that? I don't know. That jerkiness that you get when you're startled, that's really hard to act. So that's why I kind of feel like this is real, just because of how startled he was. So I don't know if somebody pranked him, or if he definitely caught paranormal activity. Is this the notorious Slender Man? We can see off in the distance a figure walking. And once we zoom in, we realize how tall this figure is, how long his limbs are, how skinny he is as well. Is this simply somebody on stilts walking? Is it possible this is just a person with Marfan syndrome, which is a disorder of the connective tissues that causes a person to be tall and lanky? I know it looks creepy, but I think this is a person on stilts. Just the way the knees are bending weird, that just looks like stilts to me. What do you think on this one? Let me know in the comments section below. This is definitely a creepy kid. As the camera slowly pans towards the left, it falls on a child with no eyes, long hair. It could be somebody on their knees and not a child at all. Could also be the back of the head, not the front. It could be the top of their head and they're looking down. I have to say, this would scare the crap out of me, and if it was my child doing this without my permission, I would ground them for at least a month, and I'd make them sit in timeout for at least an hour. I think this is staged. This is part 2 of the clip where we saw the creepy kid on the wall earlier when he was outside of the building, so I think it's all staged. If you agree or disagree with my analysis, please leave a comment below. You will find links to social media platforms for this channel as well as for Jim Riley in the description below. Be safe and don't investigate alone. If you appreciate this type of analytical analysis, please subscribe. And remember, question everything. Thanks for watching Paranormal, True or False.